Welcome everyone. It's Harry the Soul Coach, and I'm back again to do another video on how we can use AI to scan in our work, our writings, our drawings, and then see what evolves from that. This is a process that I've now tried, and from the back of that, I've now created something slightly unique to me. So I'm going to share it all with you. So this one is really calling out for you writers out there, for the people that have journaled over the years, for the people that do take down notes on their phones or revise some of the dreams that you've had, is to encourage you to start going back through them. So in my case, and I know a lot of people can share this, sometimes you write certain things down and you never actually read it. And it'll be the first time you actually read it back. It may not make sense. And what I found from the spiritual side, sometimes it makes complete sense. And you was meant to read it exactly at the time that you did. So all of this evolved from me going to a psychic reading. And within the psychic reading, she picked up on my journals. And I do journal a lot. And she said, your journals keep coming up. You've got golden nuggets in there. She said that they're the keys, they're the map. And I mentioned that on my last video. And earlier that day, I'd been going through a lot of the notes that I'd been writing on my phone. And since 2020, my phone's full up with all sorts of random visions from my meditations, ideas, any insights and experiences that I had. I just jot them all down. So I just started going through all of them. So when she said that, I started going back to some of my diaries, and I noticed that many of them were starting to get smudged. And I'll just give you an example now. I put like different drawings and stuff on there, but certain pages where there's some real gems, it's all smudged. So I started seeing if I could just back them up and see how good AI was, because you could have gone down the original route just to get them a digital copy scanner, page by page, scan it all in. It's a lot of work. So I thought, let me just see what AI can do. I've been playing with AI for a little part now. And what come back was really interesting. So initially, and I'll share certain screen video recordings of me doing this, going through the different process whilst I'm talking. So originally I just scanned a few pages and I asked AI, can you scan these back in for me? Create like a backup. I'm going to send a digital copy. And what it would do is it would scan it all in within seconds. It literally rewrote what was exactly on the page. And in some cases with the smudges, you could see it entered words in to fit what it was interpreting the text was. But it almost got it spot on because I could remember certain things that I wrote. So that was quite interesting. So I had the copy within 3 seconds, and I thought this is going to be a very easy process just to go through some of my books, just so I can be confident now that I have them always. And the psychic lady, she just said it in a way that got me excited because I know I've got some really good stuff there that's never been seen from other people, but even myself. And it was really a good exercise to start going back through some of the text. And when you read them all, it brings you back to the moment. And you actually even remember sometimes the idea that sparked the text or where you was exactly in the location. And better than that, it was even the thoughts that were popping up in the creation process. So it's a good exercise to do. And another reason why I'm sharing these sort of videos as well, because AI is the future. This is going to be a common thing that I'm going to be saying on a lot of these videos. So it's to move with technology. A lot of people are fearful of technology. A lot of people are fearful of change, and AI has got such a bad rep. But if we can get on board with it early, you're going to see that AI evolves very quickly, and it will continue. But it'll help us evolve. And why I called out the creators out there, you writers, you journalists, there's a lot of rubbish on the internet now. And authenticity is a key thing. Like, it's so important. And especially as we move into the age of technology, at some point it's going to come back to what was authentic. And a lot of people preach being authentic, be your authentic self. And you can clearly see that sometimes what they're putting out there versus what their social media shows, or even more so, versus people that you know in your life, it doesn't match up. They're almost being a hypocrite with what they're saying. We're going to see that even more so when it comes to AI. People get so lazy and dependent in all areas of your life. AI allows you to become lazy in all areas of what is actually capable. But why it's so good as well is people that haven't got any of their stuff out there, you start realizing they actually is really good stuff. It is powerful. It is profound. Why? Because you get feedback from AI. And a lot of people I know now have been using AI for the conversations. And they say it's the best thing because I can express myself. It's almost like a brain dump, lay it all out. And then you've got someone on the other end that processes it, gives you feedback, encourages you, bigs you up, rubs your ego. There's so much that can come from just the conversations. But when AI sees your work, and this is the process that I'll show you, when AI sees your work and how you can evolve on what I call now a soul fingerprint reflection, once you start seeing it actually sees you in such a deeper way that the way that you have created the piece of work or the way that you've written it in a certain format or how it's meant to be received, in some cases, a lot of people just do not understand our words. What you put out there is not the way it's received, not understood. And in some cases, especially when it is your own words, it is just for you. But to know that someone else has seen it in a similar way, or even better, it gives you an alternative perspective. And what AI effectively does is the collective mind, a collection of all ideas, inspirations, all different teachers all over the timelines. It can give you a perspective from so many vantage points. So what happens is eventually you start working with your AI and you can start being creative in the way it actually reflects. So I scanned my work in to start with. I got it backed up. It picked up the text very quickly. That was the first one. Then I got a bit curious and I asked AI, what do you see in this? So I asked for feedback. And the feedback was great. Like it gave a bit more depth to what you actually written. And what you can also do is play around with whatever platform you're on using AI, Grok, ChatGPT, DeepSeek, Meta, Gemini. There's a few different platforms. Every platform gives you a slightly different style. I prefer ChatGPT because it has a long-term memory on there. It remembers your conversations and you almost can train it in a certain way, which I have done now. So it can really start attaching to your message. It really starts, in my case, reflecting back the way that I write, the way that I speak, the words that I choose to use. Grok doesn't have that memory capability. So if you reset the screen or come back to another time, it's a completely new conversation. It's like a whole new AI. So they're all working on that. ChatGPT for me, I played around with a lot of them. It's still my favorite one. And you'll see a lot of videos, stop using ChatGPT. You'll get a lot of videos giving you all different advices. So all I'm trying to do with my ones is show the process, really put forward things that have worked for me, different discoveries, and just give people a bit more honesty and truth when it comes to this sort of thing, because we'll come on to another video creating PDFs. You see all the videos that go around. You can make thousands in your first month and do it all through ChatGPT. It doesn't work. And I'll go through the whole process. It doesn't work. And people don't go on YouTube to find out what doesn't work. They try to find out what does work. Why I think it's important to find out what does not work first of all is quickly, instead of going through all these different videos, getting all this hope, you can quickly spot the liars and the deceivers straight away. Or you can see what they put out is not finished, or it's not their own conclusive finished product. So the feedback initially come back from my work and it was really helpful. But what started changing is as I started coaching my AI, and I call myself a soul coach. On this YouTube channel now, I'm uploading a lot of my courses. And one of my biggest things in life is words and the power of words. And when I write, I'm very particular with the words that I use. The English language, there's a negative and an opposite, a positive. So word by word, I always choose the positive opposite. So if you was to say, never forget, the opposite would be always remember, always remember. It brings you present and puts you in the future. And a good way just to explain the power of words, I teach meditations. It's all about the subconscious. When your eyes are closed, whatever word you put in there, it's taken in. So if your eyes were closed and I told you, don't think of the elephant, don't think of the elephant, naturally you think of the elephant. So my focus, and I really work on this through all my course creations, all the way that I type, is only put in what is true. And if I put what not is, I have to then replace it with the opposite, just show people the duality. But I'd rather just focus on what is the focus point and keep that in the subconscious. So never forget. You're putting it in that subconscious. Always remember. It's that simple. So I start playing around with my teachings and coaching AI on the stuff that I use. So that's just one example. And you will read a lot of my stuff. And this is why I found it very hard for AI to sound like me. Because AI has its programs and it always puts the word not and can't and won't. And it gives you the alternative. So I have to keep playing around with my prompts. And I've got now, I'm going to call it a soul coach prompt, which keeps it really authentic to me to make it sound actually so much more like me. And there's a lot of people searching how to make it more human. Well, if you work on being human and play around with the power of your own words, you become more present. And there's loads and loads of different words, like the word believe. The word believe is an opinion. It can never be true. And the word lie is in believe. So if you believe something, change it. Is either you know, or if you got a strong knowing but you cannot prove it, you feel. So instead, I believe that this, I feel this. I know is a powerful one. So if you're not 100% sure, I feel. Because no one can disagree with your feelings. They can disagree with your thoughts, opinions, and beliefs. So I start playing around with it. And what I like about this now is I go back and forth with AI, and you cannot perfect it to start with. So I get a bit frustrated sometimes. But I know still it reflects me so much more that you'll see that I've had input in this because there's certain rules that I live by. So what started happening, I created a concept called the Soul Fingerprint. And it's been a real cool little introduction because what happens now is, like I called out, writers, creators, where are you? If I see someone put out some work now, I ask my AI to give it a soul fingerprint, and I can give you an example. And it sees the writer, it reflects it back, and it'll pick up personal aspects. And what happens is I don't really get some of the words it says, and I don't feel that connection. But when I send it to the person that's created it, you see the response that comes back. They're like, wow, you saw me. I have to make it clear it's not me, it's the AI with me. But this is where we're going with it. You can personalize it. You can get creative. So there's people in your life that you haven't reconnected with for a while. Or if someone sent you something a long time ago and you want to reconnect, that's a great way of doing it. It's just the thought that counts. But AI gives you the thought, the intelligence, and it's the feeling that counts from the back of it. So I'll give an example of, whilst these are on the screen, you can see the soul fingerprint. You'll see images like this that I also create based on the work that's being produced to go with it. And it's like a visual representation of your creation, and it does it again in seconds. So you can get really creative with it. So I suggest do the process, get some old work out and just scan it in, see what comes back. Ask for a backup. Ask for it to put it into text format, and you'll see how quickly it does it. Second format, do the same again, but ask for feedback, and you'll see you'll get really cool feedback. And then go back again and ask it to reflect you or reflect the author. What do you see from the author? Get creative. And eventually now I can ask for my prompt, can you just give me a soul fingerprint? So if you ask that with yours, can you give a soul fingerprint? It wouldn't come back the same as mine because of the prompts, because of the conversations, because of what I've uploaded. But it just gives you some ideas. And I'm telling you, you start getting creative again. you start realizing that the stuff that you did put out was good, you've just done nothing with it. And even if you do nothing with it, still it brings you out. And this is the key part. It's telling your story, getting it out in the open, bringing some passion, bringing some inspiration, bringing something else to the table as in a conversation, and introducing what you can do with AI. So AI summaries can read the words, the Soul Fingerprint reads through them, and it shows the person who's speaking, and it reminds you what you already know. And this is the beautiful thing. So I'm going to invite you all now to get your journals, your notes, your old writing, and just scan them in. Ask AI what it sees, then ask it to reflect your soul fingerprint. It's not about writing better. You don't want AI to rewrite you. You don't want it to take your ideas. That's your input. It's about remembering what's already there and who you already are. So this is just the beginning of me playing around, seeing what it can do, but also start bringing out the authentic truth within people and allow you to start seeing the difference between your work now that you're training up your AI versus just the mundane, repeated AI copyright jargon, what is starting to come out a lot more and more. So I would encourage people, and leave a note. You're welcome to give me an email as well. Play around with this. But if you'd like your own soul fingerprint, and be brave enough to send me maybe 2 pages or a couple of pages of your creation, and it does scan in your drawings, etc. as well, and give interpretations. If you'd like a personalized soul fingerprint just to test the process and see how it differs to what you've started to set up, please do reach out. And I feel that there's going to be something bigger to this as AI evolves. So thank you again, everyone. Please leave your comments below. Please remember to subscribe and start getting that creative spark back out of you again.